What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now. And yo, we have an awesome conversation for you today. Awesome conversation. We have a unique brother that really has a dynamic backstory, but that literally is leading him and his wife and his little one to really do some unique things out in the world and really inspire the world to do big things. And that person is none other than BJ Darius. His real name is Bijamson Darius, but we're going to call him BJ so that I don't mispronounce it going forward. And but BJ is a husband and a father, and he's part of the inspiration or a part of the team behind DariusDestinations. Family, travel, outreach, and love. It's a platform in which they have the opportunity to show Black love, the joy of parenthood, and community outreach. Powerful, powerful, powerful. And they're based out of New York. And so, fellas, in the Black Fathers Now family, I want to welcome my man, BJ Darius. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, man. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Man, no problem at all, my brother. It's interesting as you scroll through Instagram, I came across, a couple of posts that you all had made in regards to travel and traveling with your little ones. And then as I dove more into it, I was like, man, this is interesting. And so you and I connected in the DM, and I was like, yo, I got to have this brother on and kind of tell me his story and share with us, a little bit about himself and his inspiration. So I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and chop it up with the Black Fathers Now family, brother.
Yeah, no, that's not a worry, man. I always look forward to it. Share my wisdom, share whatever I've gained, and whatever I can do to better somebody else's life is what I look forward to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, before we jump into your specific story, I always like to give shout outs, man, because, as married brothers, as brothers who got kids and support systems and all that kind of stuff, it's best to give a shout out. Well, shout outs are due on the front end. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Thanks. Well, first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Jessica. She's just an amazing woman. She's part of who I am right now, and made me who I am. She's just an amazing person. I've grown and I've learned and I've developed because of her. So I'm very, very thankful for her, for this journey that we're taking together. I thank God for putting us together. It was a long journey, and I'm glad that we are taking it together. And I want to give also a shout out to my little man, Elias. The joy of my life. This guy makes me feel certain ways that I would never felt as a person. Make me smile every time I come from work, every time I see him, from doing annoying things to doing good things, and just laughing it off. It's amazing kid, smart beyond his years right now. So I just want to give a shout out to those two and my family. I'm a big family guy. I mean, I have a huge family, extended and immediate. So I just want to thank them for all they have done so far in my life.
Awesome, man. No doubt. And, and that's actually a pretty neat segue into kind of your origin story, your backstory. You mentioned that, this has been a long journey, and you also mentioned that, you have a pretty large extended family. So take us back to the beginning, man. Give us a little bit of your history, man. Walk us back to your origin story. Where did Bijamson Darius begin, brother?
Well, I was born in a little place called Haiti, in a little, I guess a little space called La Plaine, a little country in a little rural area. Well, where everybody's it's this tight knit neighborhood. Where you know your neighbors, the neighbors know you, is very, very tight knit. And I always love the community. It's a very small little village, where every neighbor know each other. We farm, we do everything that we need to do for our own. It was just an amazing little spot that I grew at. Uh, I was raised by my grandmother a little bit because I was sick when I was younger. Taking me to missionary works and stuff like that to pray for other people. Um, and then I moved with my mom and my father and my siblings to New York around 1990.
Mm.
And
So from
then
Haiti to New York.
yes, I was around 6 years old when I came here, so I was fresh. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but when I came here, I was definitely 6 years old.
Well, at that point, like, you mentioned you were from rural Haiti, rural small town in Haiti, and then you go to like the biggest metropolis or the busiest place, New York City.
Yeah, that was I mean, it wasn't even scary. It was fascinating because I can
Really?
remember. Yeah, I can remember coming out of the airplane, and first of all, it was cold. I'm from a tropical spot, and I'm coming to this new world, and it was cold, and it was around Christmas time. It was like December, January when I came to New York, to the state, and it was cold. I didn't get the cold. I don't understand why it was cold. I don't know what reason why it was cold. It was just cold, but I was so enamored by the lights. I remember driving from the airport to back to that my grandfather's house. All I can remember was this lights everywhere, and I don't get that in Haiti because in Haiti, you have little neighborhoods, and you hear a little glimpse here, but when I'm in the car, all I can remember is like lights flickering and passing through, and
Mm.
it was just amazing. I always feel like I was like in a movie, so to speak.
Wow. Wow. So it's just like you went, it's like one extreme to the other. But then the first thing or the thing that still reigns in your mind is the notion of the lights. Just that's
It was just
fascinating.
lights everywhere. Yeah, it was lights. I was in my grandfather's car, and I was at the window. I feel like it was a movie. I'm looking at the window, plugging up the window, and I'm just looking. This lights everywhere. This little kid that's in a new world. I have no idea what's happening. You're just following, wherever my parents is taking us, and I'm just looking at lights. All I can remember is just lights everywhere.
Mm. And I think you mentioned in your bio, you're the second oldest of 12 siblings.
Yeah, I usually say my father was a Rolling Stone.
Okay, okay, I can dig it.
And if you know exactly what that means.
Yes,
I
yes,
love my
yes, we all
dad.
do. Yeah.
I love my dad. I'm guessing he got that from my grandfather as well. Because I mean, I feel like I have some uncles out there in Haiti that I don't even know of.
Hmm.
Because he was in the Navy, so I guess wherever he landed, it's where he landed. I mean, I may be over exaggerating, but I mean, I have a lot of uncles. I
What do
have a
they
lot
say?
of
Grow,
uncles.
say grow where you plant it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, say most people say grow where you plant it. I think he planted everywhere he landed, and
Everywhere
so
he landed. Yes, just wherever his seed could grow, he planted.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so, okay, so 12 siblings. So when you all moved to New York, did all 12 siblings come to New York, or was that just a few of you all?
No, my immediate. So with my mom, they were when we first got here. It was just a five. It was the five of us. I say four of us. My sister came afterwards.
Okay,
And then my younger sister was born later on, and she was born in the States. So that became the six of us. So when we came here, it was just my older brother, my sister, and my other brothers. It was just the four of us.
gotcha.
Before it became the six of us. My youngest sister before that, she was in Haiti still, and she came a few years later. So it was just the four of us when we first came here.
Wow. And so talk to us a little bit about your transition. So in the early 1990s, moving to New York, um, pretty large family, so to speak, and transitioning. Did you speak English prior to coming to New York, or was that something in which you had to learn once you got here? Talk a little bit about your transition, like just your journey there, brother.
Man, school was tough.
Hmm.
It was tough. When we had to go to school, I think when I started, they put me on first grade, but I think the age I was older than that, but they wanted me to learn. So throughout my year, I was always like a year back behind or something like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
started in first grade, and I think I was 6 years old, 7 years old, and I'm starting first grade, which I think was probably like moving back. But they wanted me to like learn as much as I need to learn. So all of us, none of us knew any English. My brother, when he came here, he knew a little bit. Like he went to school in Haiti. So my older brother, he knew a French or something like that. He knew Creole, but I didn't get to go to school, so I didn't have school education much in Haiti. But as far as going to school, it was tough. Yeah, we were put in ESL. I know I was because I wasn't progressing as I need to. I couldn't communicate with other kids out there. It was tough. It was the only time I looked forward to was the playground where I was able to like run around. But every
Hmm.
time I was trying to communicate, it was hard because I didn't know the language. I didn't know how to say certain things. I don't know what to do when it comes to lunchroom. Whatever you was giving me was what I ate. So it was tough. So I had to learn the language pretty quick, which is what I had to commend us, each and every one of us that got here, my siblings. We had to pick up the language real quick. So there was no time to just like linger. We had to learn the language quick. So within a year, we were communicating in English.
Mm. Mm. And in part of your bio, you also mentioned, like a little caveat that you all lived in a one room shared bathroom hotel with
Yeah, that
yours.
that in itself was like a touching story.
Talk to us a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, so when we first came to the state, we would stay with my grandfather, with my other aunts and uncles when we were younger, and then we moved to Queens, and we stayed at Queens for some time. I think we stayed at Queens for a good 3 to 4 years or so. Went to school there, and then I moved. My mother, my mother took our luggage, pack our stuff. We were staying at somebody else's house in Queens, and I remember that day, clear as day. She packed our stuff. We take whatever we can, and some was like in trash bags, some were just like in our laundry bags. Whatever we could take with us is what we took, and then the rest was left behind. Because I guess my mom was having some kind of dispute with the person that was there, or they didn't want my mom to be there. So my mom found out where my dad was living because my dad wasn't living with us, and she packed our bags, and we took the train from Queens to Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, and we entered a, a hotel, which I didn't know back then. It was a hotel my father was staying at, and we got the key to his room, and we went in there and stayed there for a good 3 to 4 years until we moved to another place, which is upstairs, still a one-bedroom apartment, one
Mm-hmm.
bedroom, I'm sorry, room. And we all was sitting there. We all was literally in that same room for about 7 years. So in that hotel, I would say 7 years, where seven plus my mom, I said it's seven of us in one room trying to share one space.
Mm. 7 people in one room, one bathroom. That
What,
was your reality for seven
what
years.
that was the thing. It wasn't even a private bathroom. It was a public bathroom. So that whoever was in that area would be using that bathroom. So it wasn't a private bathroom where all of us have in the room. It was just like a community bathroom. So you had to leave the room to go use the bathroom.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's interesting, man. Like, I mean, and so growing up, like, what did that make you feel like, compared to, I guess some of your friends and things that at school and all, like, how did that impact you, that living situation in New York, right? And this is I guess the mid to late 90s at this point, correct?
Yeah, it was late '90s. I would say close to, yeah, around the same time. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
so late 90s, this is the living situation in New York. You've kind of adjusted at this point to, being in America. How did this make you feel, I guess, with your contemporaries and friends and all of that kind of stuff? Like what used to go through your mind in that
I mean, I
particular.
was I was embarrassed. I mean, I'm still embarrassed. Just the fact that I'm telling the story now is a little bit, it's touchy. But I know it just. I mean, like I need to. It's kind of therapeutic for me if I say it out loud.
Mhm.
Um, but it was embarrassing. I've never invited any of my friends over to my house. Not one of
Wow.
them ever. I know one of them was like very close. It was like, I want to come over, just hang out. I don't really care what happened. I was like, no, my mom don't really like that. Like I always put restriction or give an excuse for them not to show up. And mind you, my school was just like 2 blocks away from my house. I used to walk to school.
Mm,
And I used to give all types of excuses for my friends not to come over to my house, and I never liked that. I always find any reason in the books to leave my house. Like I've never felt 100% comfortable, not because I felt hated or I felt it was just it was crowded. You know, it was
mm-hmm,
crowded. There was never enough room. At times there was not enough food. There was this it was just a struggle. It was a
mm,
struggle. I remember at times during the summertime, me and my sister, which always was a problem as well. When my mom go to work, we would have to find summer schools that would give breakfast in the morning
mm,
because we didn't have any breakfast. So we would hunt literally schools, and when we find out one that does, we would have to wake up at a certain time to be there so we can finagle ourselves to go into school because some school won't give it to us unless you're a part of the school, like you're going to a school, summer school. So we
wow.
found one that were given breakfast in the morning, and my sister and I would travel in the morning. Sometimes my brother should just like get some kind of breakfast to get something in our stomach for that day and wait until my mom get home to maybe cook us something. So it was very, very hard. So no friends over. Food was scarce. It was just a full room at all times.
Mm, mm. And so it's just like, how did, like, I mean, as far as like your, your growth and development and education and things of that sort, like how did all of that come into play and impact you in regards to, I guess you progressing to where you are now professionally? Like how did that circumstance impact you? Did it serve as like motivation to, like I'm going to be successful by any means necessary? Or did it kind of give you some other feeling, so to speak, as you kind of progress through life, so to speak, coming to, I guess, fast forwarding to now?
Well, as again, I didn't come to terms with it until as an adult. I didn't see the impact of it until I again being an adult. There was some underlying issues, especially when I'm in school, that I never understood and never got. And even still today, I feel like I'm still living with it. I'm still struggling with it. Just the fact that I don't have a place of my own, I don't have a room to on my own, I don't have food, that my dad wasn't around, or he was around but he was never in the house. Like it was just a problem. So as far as education and learning was difficult for me. I
Mm,
know even today, like even trying to read a book, it does not interest me because it was never something that I was ever like encouraged or I was looking forward to do. Because I mean, education is push, but as my mom being a single parent, the mom and the dad, it's hard for her to just like, especially as a boy, to make me do something that I don't want to do. Or I say, go
mm,
to school and do your homework. And my mom can't teach us how to do the homework because she doesn't know the language. All she's doing is going to work and coming back home. So homework was not done or done mediocre because I only can do what I need to do and just like bare minimum. But school was difficult for me. I did not enjoy school up until high school. I did not enjoy school. School was one of the worst places I can be. The only reason why I wanted to be in school was because I was away from home, or I can
mm,
possibly get some kind of food, or some kind of escape. Even during the summertime, again, I would find friends and go rollerblading or go to the park, go outside and play basketball pretty much the whole day. I remember one time I went to play basketball and I was so famished and so hungry I didn't realize it that when I'm walking home I literally was like shaking of hunger because I had no money in my pocket. I had no food to eat. But because I wanted to escape so much, I stayed out the whole day. And when I got home, when I was walking home, I was shaking so much that I just had to get some kind of liquid in my system.
mm,
Um, there was nothing to eat, and I wanted to escape. So again, education was very, very hard for me. It's even still today is hard for me. Went through junior high school with difficulties, trying to manage and trying to pass grades. Um, uh, High school was again. I think high school was one of the worst for me because as soon as I got in high school, I got involved in a relationship with a girl with a bet. It was a bet that I made with my friend.
okay.
It was in music. I think I had music, and I told my friend I was like, before the end of this semester, I said either one of those girls I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna be going out with. So it was a bet with my friend.
Okay.
And the first girl flopped because she was not giving me the time of day. So I was like, fine. So I moved to the next person. And the next girl, the way I went over, I just tell her, I was like, look, there's this, I think they was having, my school had like I think they was having a party or something like that. And I asked her, look, I'm going. If you want us to go, let me know. But I know I had no interest of going. I just wanted to just like see if she wanted to. And I guess she caught it. She caught onto it, and we hit it off. And we started dating. But she was like a grade higher than me. I was ninth grade. She was like, she was like I think she was in 10th grade or 11th grade.
Okay.
But I got involved in a relationship. I stopped going to school. I cut class. It was very, very bad. It's up until a point where I was like, I had to take night classes just to graduate from high school. So
Wow.
I didn't graduate.
So hold on. So because of the relationship, you ended up cutting class and just saying screw. Like, but it's interesting because you also mentioned that because of various circumstances, education was always difficult for you anyway. So
Right.
was it the relationship that, was your out, or was the relationship just that catalyst to say, all right, I just need an excuse to not go anyway?
Both, you can say.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I was not interested in education at all.
Okay.
It didn't fancy me. I didn't understand it. I had difficulties. So if I had difficulty in something, I didn't find a need for it. So if I already didn't find a need for it, anything else that would come and grab my attention, I would move towards it. So if it was a girl, I was definitely an escape. She was giving me the time of day. I mean, I wasn't an ugly kid. She was giving me the time of day, but the problem was that it was just cutting class or not going to school that put me in a position where it was pushing me back. And the thing is, she wasn't falling back. I was. So it wasn't her that was pulling me down. I was pulling myself down. Because she graduated on time and she left before I did. And I had to get myself together, pick myself together and say, okay, I need to like graduate at least within a year that my classmate graduate, because I was behind. I was in summer school and when I was in summer school for about since 10th to 12th grade, because I had to make up my classes.
Wow. So wow. Okay. So that caused you to have to kind of deviate a little bit and do some extra stuff just to get out of high school. And so you finished high school, and what ended up happening next? Like, what was the next step for you after that?
I finished high school, and I was thrilled. Like, I was happy that I was done with high school, my diploma. Actually, when I got out of high school, my first interest was to actually join the Navy.
Okay.
I applied to join the Navy. I didn't even tell my parents. I just applied by myself on my own. I didn't ask for permission. I just applied. I'm guessing it wasn't for me because I applied for it, and I guess you have to take an exam, and I failed the exam the first time. And the second time you take it is even harder than the first time. The reason why I wanted to join the Navy because I had no interest of what I was going to do as far as college, what to study. My house was not the best. So I was just like, I was almost done. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. So it was kind of difficult for me to just like decide on a career path when I had no interest of a career to study. So I wanted to join the Navy, and it didn't fall through. And for some reason, so I just continued with my life for some time. So I just like started working at a McDonald's, and then move up into retail, and try to just working. So me not being home was one thing, but I was pretty much working all the time because I didn't want to be home.
So basically, not being home was your inspiration to do stuff, or basically that was your focus. It's just like I just didn't want to be home, right?
Right. I didn't want to be home. That was my escape. Anything that would take me away from home, I would jump at. If it's a girlfriend, if it's work, if it's like partying at night, like as long as I was not home, the only time I used my house was just to like sleep in and wake up. Like I didn't find a need to be home at all.
So when did all this change? Because then I also see in your bio here, you ended up getting an associate's degree. And when did that thing change for you, in which, I don't know, maybe the motivations changed, something inspired you? When did the switch flip, so to speak, in which you started doing things a little bit differently?
I mean, honestly, I always wanted to do something different. I just didn't know how to go about doing it. I don't know when to go about doing it. It was just a limbo, and it was killing me. I was in a relationship, and I decided that okay, it's not going anywhere. It's a long term relationship. It's not going anywhere, and nothing. We're not growing. We're just pretty much like in each other's space for no reason. So I decided to end the relationship, and I was just like, I don't want to be with anybody else. I want to be by myself, alone, and focus on getting my education, getting my degree, whatever it is I need to get. Like I wanted to just like get that. And then I got involved with my current wife right now, which was we were longtime friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I got involved with her. It was pretty much by accident. We just started hanging out as friends, and then we became even more.
That's kind of how it happens, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool.
And even with her, with my wife, um, um, just getting with her, or just having her right now was just a journey in itself. Me and her, she and I, we met each other at a church when we were like teens or teen. I think I was like 16, if not 13 years old. And we went to a church. My mother joined a church, and went to the church, and she was one of the girls that attended, because she lives upstate, but she comes to the church time to time. Um, and I met her, and she became friends with my sister. And I always liked her. I had a high interest in her, but she didn't want anything to do with me. She only saw me as a friend, a good guy. She didn't want anything to do with me. So I just kept it. I mean, I never moved and made a move at her. I just liked her a lot. So I just played it cool. I didn't sweat it. We grew up, we parted our ways, but she's always been at my house. Like she'd come to my house and chill with my sister. My sister would, her and my sister would hang out. So she was always around.
Now hold on. You mentioned she would always come to your house. See, growing up, now had you all moved at that point, or?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we moved.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm like something there, because you let her come, but you didn't want anybody else to come to the y'all.
No.
By that point. Okay.
And we moved. I think we moved. We moved to Harlem by this time, because before it was in Lower Manhattan. We moved to Harlem. We got a 4-bedroom apartment in Harlem, so now we have a little bit more space. But me being who I am, I was still like being out. So by this time, we already had our 4-bedroom apartment. We had a little more space. We have a whole lot more space, should I say, which is really good. So that's when my mother joined the church, and we started going, and then she started coming over to the house more often. So that's afterwards. So I should have been a little more clear.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
cool.
So she hung out with my sister, more often. I've seen her say hi. I mean, I kept it cool. I never like made any kind of move on her. Again, we grew up. I had other girls, and she moved out. She went to college. And coincidentally, she went to Boston University.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my cousins that lives in Boston as well. So I used to make excuses to go to Boston to go see her. I used to go to my cousin's house, and I was like, I gotta go see one of my friends that goes to the campus not too far away. So me and her would hang out. We hang out. We go to like jazz bars. We chill. We were just chilling, just really chill.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. There's no kissing. It was just literally good friends hanging out. So I didn't make any move at her on her. So I would go time to time and go see her and chill with her, and then go back home. And that was that. We didn't touch base with each other until she moved back into I think Brooklyn or so, and I was at a job, and my job was ending, and the store was closing, and she was out of work. I was out of work. I was just like, I know the city, so I know a lot of things that's going on in the city. Let's just hang out.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you want. I said, do you want to do anything? She's like, fine. I'm not doing anything. Okay, fine. So that's how we became a little closer. So I was like, okay, there's an event going on. Do you want to attend? She said, fine. I'm not doing anything. No problem. So we started hanging out, and we became closer and closer. So it was really, literally by mistake. Like I just loved hanging out with her. She loved hanging out with me. So if I didn't call her, she would call me. She was like, oh, this is going on. Do you want to go? Or what's going on tonight? Do you want to go? So we just started hanging out, and we became very close friends. And then it just developed into something a whole lot stronger.
Mm. And now we have Darius Destinations.
Yes, DariusDestinations.
Wow. I mean, and the reason I wanted you to really kind of dive into your backstory, man, is because you really have some unique points there, man. I mean, just the whole concept of, immigrating to the United States as a young guy, didn't speak the language, but then the notion of you living in very close quarters in the United States with your family, but how that inspired or impacted you from an emotional perspective, right? It's like you were not necessarily embarrassed by the language or this or that. You were embarrassed by the circumstances and how
Yes.
that literally carried forward, to your thinking. But then it seems like that embarrassment kind of impacted you from an educational perspective, from, just from different things that were kind of going on in your life. And so one of the things that I wanted you to kind of dive into with that is just kind of give everybody a framework and a background, because it seems like a lot of your journey really seems to serve as the catalyst behind Darius Destinations, when you have the opportunity to show Black love, the joy of parenthood, community outreach. It's like the importance of community outreach based on your background, but then it's family, travel, outreach, and love. I mean, just the platform. When I hear the tagline or the things that kind of make up your platform, I then go back and think about your story and like how the dots got connected. So what's the inspiration itself behind Darius Destinations, my man?
Darius Destination. Originally, it was my wife that was doing. I think she was doing. She was locking her hair, and she was doing certain videos, and so she was getting a lot of likes. So what happens is after we got married, we decided to go to a trip. I think we went to Antigua for our honeymoon. We went to Antigua, we enjoy ourselves, and then we just noticed that I was like, "This is really good. We can capitalize on this." Like, because I like to travel. She's been traveling since she was in college, all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go to Antigua. But the thing is, the reason why we went to Antigua is because she studied for medical school over there. So she
Okay.
knew people over there. So we were like, you know what, let's go to Antigua. We knew some money there, so let's go. So we went over there. We enjoy ourselves, and then now we start thinking, where else can we go that we can enjoy ourselves? So we just start finding other places locally within the state that we can go. So if it's Florida, we'll go. If it's Arizona, we'll go. Like anywhere that we go, or we have a family member that can help, we'll go. Like we're not limited because we want to be by ourselves. We don't mind. So Darius Destination begun because we like to travel mostly. But it started developing where my wife and I, we have a common interest, which is something that I enjoy. We love giving back. So
Mm.
both of us enjoy giving. So we are more givers than we are receivers, because I don't know how to receive still,
Mm-hmm.
and she still knows how to. I mean, she's also a giver as well. So we do a lot of. We started to do some community service with our church, and the problem was there's a lot of like red tape within the church. So you can't do this without legal. I mean, without this, or you can't go over there because the liability issues. You can't go over here because so it was just a problem. So we took it upon ourselves, say, okay, since the church is gonna give us a little bit of a headache, let's see what we can do ourselves. Maybe we can do maybe some kind of foundation on our own to see what we can do. So we start gathering our thoughts. Okay, so let's just do something. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, what we start doing is that first Thanksgiving she came to my family's house. Second Christmas I went to her family's house. And once we established that, we was like, okay, what can we do next? So I was like, well, do you want to do like a feed the homeless? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? So whenever it comes to giving, it's never like a second thought.
Okay.
Do you want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Fine, no problem. So we started going to the on Thanksgiving, we started going to the homeless shelters and just give out food. So that became a tradition. So now, ever since then, ever since that first time we did it every year. So we've been doing it for a good 3 years now, 3-4 years now, and just giving back to the community. So we started doing that with our church. We tag team with them. We do a backpack where we go to a little area. It's a place up in Poughkeepsie that we do a backpack. So we get money from the church, money from other people, and we just like buy books, we buy supplies, pencils, book bags, and we just give it to the communities of what they need. So that we've been doing for a good 2 or 3 years as well. So that's where it pretty much started. It started because we wanted to do more, and my wife and I, we wanted to give more, and we just can't give enough.
Okay.
So wherever we go, we're trying to do as much as we can. We went to Chicago for my birthday, and we end up going to a homeless shelter to give out food. So that's just something that it's just in us. We always need to do. We always want to do, and that's how it kind of drew up, where it just becomes more than what we wanted to.
And so as you all travel, part of the Darius Destinations, methodology is you go and you try to find a way to give no matter where you go. So whether it's international, whether it's local, whether it's, somewhere in the States, your goal, or it started with the notion of how can we give and give more. And the inspiration was, like on Thanksgiving, doing the give backs and collaborating with the church. But now when you think of Darius Destinations, that's a key component of you all's travel adventures, correct?
Correct, correct, correct. I mean, there's so many avenues that we can go. I mean, we say family, outreach, love. I mean, there's so many avenues. I mean, we always say family first, only because one, we have both of our sides we have big family both sides. I have like an entire island of family, and she does as well. So we enjoy family first, even with my wife and I and my son. Like, we enjoy each other's company. That's something I can always say.
Mm.
We enjoy each other's company. Whenever we go anywhere, we trying to be a role model to anybody that come across. So
Mm.
our mind frame is, and I sit down with my wife and I always said that, because we have a lot of people that approach us, is that we need to be a role model at every single seconds of our life, because wherever we go, whatever we do, people are watching. So if we do something good, they watch. If we do something bad, they watch. So we always need to be in our best behavior. So whatever we don't do, people are always watching. So we need to be good examples, especially as far as the relationship. Even in the church, they don't show compassion, they don't show love as much that we feel like they need to. So my wife and I, when we in the church, we seem like we're dating.
Mm.
We sit around, we talk to each other, we laugh. I hold her hands, I rub her back. We talk, we joke, we flirt constantly every time. And the thing is, people see that, and we want to be example to others, because um, the new generation or other people that's out there, when the way they picture marriage, they don't picture marriage as it being a happy thing. They
Wow.
picture marriage as far as it's a nuisance, or it's a necessity, or it becomes, you get married and your whole life is over, everything goes down the drain. No, there are successful marriages, people are happy in marriages, and things goes correct, it goes right. It's this happiness in marriage, and that don't get as advertised as often, and that's one of the big things that we're trying to advertise and show wherever we go. We're trying to show that love first, family first at all times. That I want to show everybody that I love this woman, and they know
Mm.
it. So there's no question whatsoever that she and I are together, or she's interested in me, or I'm interested in her. Me and my wife never stop dating. We still date. I still take her on a date. I surprise her at work. I do whatever I need to do to keep her happy. That's what keep us happy at all times. I call her at work and I flirt with her. I call her back. I was like, look, just the other day, I was like, I called you. You didn't say you love me. What's going on? Is it somebody else? Like, what's good? Like, we joke around that, you
you
know?
gotta have you gotta have fun with it. And I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
what's so interesting about what you're doing is, like, you all are keeping the fun, you're keeping the spice in your relationship, but you all are very, very intentional in making it visible so that inspires other people to keep that spice and keep that fire in their relationships. Because I will be honest with you, things, if you allow them, things can get stale. And so if you're not intentional about keeping the spice, if you're not intentional about, pushing forward in regards to showing that, look, it's not a drag, it's not a ball and chain to be married, then that can inspire this next generation coming up to say, you know what? Marriage isn't a bad thing. Because to your point, like the messaging, the narrative that gets put out there, especially by a lot of forces who don't have the right intentions, basically shed a bad light on it. And so if we want to be that positive light, which helps to, you know, push kids in the right direction and give them a fair balance of, yes, there are some fun, there are some possibilities. We still joke around. Mommy and daddy still get down in the bedroom. We still flirt. We still do all of this kind of stuff. I mean, they need to understand that that goes down so that they can aspire to that as well. Because if you think about the future of our generations, I mean, the family is the nucleus to that.
Right.
That's powerful, man.
Right.
That's powerful.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that really stood out to me when I found you guys on Instagram was the fact that you travel with your son, and that, like, I think I saw pictures. Once y'all take him to Paris, and he's been all over the place. Talk a little bit about traveling with your son.
A lot of people seems to be surprised that we travel with our son, which I still can't understand why. He's under 1 year old. Because if he's under 2 years old, he travels for free.
That's awesome. So, I was gonna point that out. See, my kids are 5 and 7, so we got to buy 2 plane tickets now. But if they're under 2, so fellas, peep game. If you have kids under the age of 2, take advantage of taking them places because they fly for free. Okay, continue.
Yeah, they fly for free. Well, internationally, you get to pay for them because they sit in your lap. But internationally, I think we paid for
the Paris or something. Yeah, nothing.
We paid for like $30 for him, like the round trip. But locally, it's free. So, again, I see some people are surprised with that. We take him to we take him on our journey, and I was like, well, for us, it was never a question. Like, we need him to be a traveling baby.
That's
like
right.
He needs to be an international kid.
That's right.
Like, he's not just reserved to just like in the States or just to go locally. No, he needs to be international. He has family around the world, so he's gonna learn different languages. He's gonna learn how to interact with other people, and the only way for him to do that is for us to expose him to that.
That's right.
And that's what we're trying to do. So he's been traveling more than some of my siblings, some of the people that I know. He traveled more than anybody that I know, but he's gonna do that. So when he gets older, traveling is not a foreign thing. It's going to be a normal thing for him.
Dude.
And he's going to carry that on with whoever that he gets with, and he grows his family.
That's big because, dude, exposure leads to opportunity. Like, that's one of the things that people fail to realize. Exposing our kids to foods, to language, to different types of people, it helps them to build their character, but then it also teaches them how to interact with folks from different walks of life. Because if you really think about it, we limit ourselves to our neighborhood, or we limit ourselves to our state, or to the few folks that we know. But people don't realize the world is made up of 7.7 billion people.
Yes.
7.7 billion. And we have to take a step back and think about that as it pertains to opportunity, as it pertains to, relationships, as it pertains to just life itself. There's an opportunity for your children to interact with 7.7 billion people. Just imagine, when we put limitations on our kids, a lot of times it's because we have not been exposed to different things ourselves. The moment that we take a step back and allow them to become exposed to opportunities, and again, realize 7.7 billion people in the world, there is no reason why our kids cannot be uber successful and go and impact the world in a magnificent way. But we have to expose them to the things first. I love what you all are doing there, brother.
It's limitation. Don't set limitation on yourself or your kids. I mean, it starts with the parents first. It starts with us as parents to break that barrier, to break that tradition that lingers around. I mean, the Bible says that you are scorned for generation after generation, but it can stop with you.
That's right.
It can stop. That curse can stop with you. That bad behavior can stop with you. That cheating can stop with you. That abuse can stop with you. It doesn't mean just because your father and your grandfather and your uncle or your aunt has done it, you can't make a difference. And that's what we're trying to do. We've seen certain things and experienced certain things within our family, and my wife and I would sit down and we said, this is not happening in our relationship, but this is going on. This is what we need to do. We see good, we see bad, and we say, okay, we're gonna take this, we're gonna incorporate it. We're not gonna take that because it doesn't work with both of us.
That's
not
right.
Even one of us It doesn't work with both of us. So if both of us don't agree with it, it's not going to happen.
Y'all
You
are a
know, so
unit.
this is
Y'all are a unit.
we have to be a unit. So traveling with him is something that it's a necessity. Like we never second guess that we're not going to travel with them. I mean, granted, there are certain times we need adult time
That's
where
right.
me and my wife
Oh
need to
yeah,
just
yeah,
go out,
most definitely.
yeah, and just like hang out and just chill or just go on vacation, which is fine. But he is part of the family. He is my son. So wherever we go, he's going to travel with us. He's going to go with us. He's not going to be an anchor to us. He's just going to be an excitement to us. So wherever we go, he's going to go with us so he can experience those things. Granted, he may not remember certain these things, some of these things, but that's why we have the video for so he can remember and say that he's been there, and he can go back if he wants to do another video if he wants to. Or just say, I've been there when I was younger, I want to go back again, or something like that. Like just expose them to as much as he can, as much as we can. I don't want to limit him from anything. I know since he was younger, I've always said, I know my wife a little bit. She jokes about, she think I'm joking when I say that. I said, my son, my goal for you is max. I mean, the highest right now is president, minimum vice president. Like I need you to be aimed for the stars.
Mm,
I don't need you. I want minimum work. I mean, if you give it your all, I commend you. But for me, my goals for you is high, because I know for myself, I know how I am. I can be a little bit like Lester. I can be a little bit, um, I can be a little bit. I take time, leisure time, but I know when I want to do something, I can get it done. But I want to push the positive in me in him. I
mm.
don't want him to see the negativity of how I do, like in linger time and progress and not progress. Like I need him to see when I want to do something and to get it done. How a man treat a woman, like all that stuff is what I want him to see. How I love him. I even tell my wife, I want to embarrass my son because I want to show him how much I love you.
Mm.
I want to embarrass him. It should not be. It should not. I want that to be an issue for my son. Like I want to say, "Ew, dad, stop that. Ew, mom, stop that." That's what he needs to see. It should not be a problem.
That's right, man.
He needs to see how much I love him.
Dude, that's powerful, man. I mean, everything comes back to you wanting to set the example. You and your wife collectively setting the example, being very intentional. I mean, that's powerful, fellas. I hope you're paying attention to BJ and his story here, because he's literally dropping a few gems here that really emphasize the fact that we must be intentional, we must be out front, and we must make it a point to set the example. Because at the end of the day, regardless whether the kids can understand everything, they're paying attention. They're paying attention. And it's so funny how like your subconscious mind works at times, because you might not know everything that's going on, but years later, something will recall and it will trigger back to something that you were exposed to earlier that you can't even remember. I mean, little things like that. So everything that you're doing, you're planting these seeds, and experiences are watering these seeds. And it's amazing what will grow out of that. And speaking of growing out of that, as we think of Darius Destinations, you mentioned that, you all travel and you try to do, various giving and charitable events as you go to different places, and you're traveling with your son. What is the ultimate goal of Darius Destinations? When you stop and you think about, I guess short term or long term, what's the ultimate goal as far as impact with Darius Destinations?
Well, the first thing we want to do is show love in the family, love in a marriage. There is always there should and there can always be love in a marriage, which is not advertised as much. There is happiness that we want to advertise. We want to advertise that. We also want to show that there is a lot of pain and suffering out there, from other people that's going through a lot of stuff. I mean, most of the stuff from myself, excuse me, that I've experienced as a child, where I don't want anybody else to ever experience. It's traumatic for me. I'm still living through it, so I don't ever want anybody to go through that. So whatever little bit I can do, or we can do, as far as Darius Destinations, I want to show the world that if we can do it, they can do it too. It doesn't take much effort. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take an army. It can just take you just getting up that one Saturday, one Sunday, or one Wednesday, one Thursday to just get up and say, I'm going to help somebody else. I'm going to do this for somebody else besides myself. Like if you eliminate yourself from the equation, the world's a brighter place.
Mm.
Like you look at somebody else, um, like my motto is, um, if I take care of you within a circle, if I take care of you, not think of myself, if I take care of you next to me and you take care of the person next to you and not think about themselves, the world will be a whole lot better place because you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about somebody else. So if that other
Absolutely.
person thinking about you, thinking about somebody else, there's no room for like self. There's no room for self. And we're trying to show that as much as possible. Love is true. There is such thing as love, and it's there, and we have to find it. I said that also. I was a counselor because I help as much as I can. I sit there and I will listen to you. If you want to if you have something to say it. Like I won't interrupt you. This one thing I had to learn in my life because this a lot of people are not listeners. They like to talk but don't like to listen. So that's our final, you can say, when as far as Darius destination, we want to establish an environment where the family and outreach is possible. It's not impossible at all. At all. I mean, I hear so many stories in the news. I hear so many stories um, in the radio about there are schools now that there are kids that get out of school, high school in debt because they have lunch. They can't pay for the lunch, or they get lunch and they owe money. It's crazy. So my motto is, and I said it since I even had my son. I said, look, as when he goes to school, I will give him extra lunch, and I'll tell him to keep an eye open. If you see any other children out there that's sitting by themselves or is not eating, it is your duty to go out there and share
Mm.
with that individual. Because I was that kid that didn't have
That's
any food.
exactly where I was about to go. That it touches you in your soul because that was you. You were that kid, so you can identify with it. And it's interesting, fellas. Sometimes hardships, well, all the time, hardships are tough. But the thing is, the hardships they serve as inspiration and they add to your story. It's kind of like pieces to your puzzle. And so by having those pieces to the puzzle, that leads to this part of inspiration or this point of inspiration that other people don't necessarily have, but it allows you to go that step further to carry it forward with your son in regards to how he interacts with others and to be on the lookout for someone who may be basically like his father was, 20 or 30 years ago. And so that's interesting. And so, fellas, as you're listening to this and as you think about and kind of pray on and marinate kind of on your own story and your own journey, don't overlook the hard times because those hard times serve as inspiration for you to do something going forward. The challenges that you go through are not necessarily for you, they're for you to learn so that you can then help someone else so that they can potentially step over that particular hurdle and maybe not experience that hardship, or maybe it won't be as devastating to them as it was to you. But everything that you go for is not necessarily for you. A lot of times it's for someone coming behind you. Pay attention to that, fellas. And listen to BJ's story. His story is littered with things like that. It's not necessarily for him, but it's for him to learn from, to then serve as a bridge for someone else to cross over that hurdle or cross over that chasm or cross over that challenge and not necessarily have to deal with it like he did. But he was the one that dealt with it. Serves as inspiration. I mean, this powerful, man, powerful story, brother. Very powerful story. Very powerful story. And so I guess as we kind of wrap this thing up, what type of words of wisdom do you have for the brothers that are listening, based on your story, based on your journey, like any type of pearl or words of wisdom that you have for the fellas listening, my man?
For the fellas, I mean, just to be realistic, I'm trying not to sugarcoat as try not to sugarcoat as much. Um, uh, Learn how to be a gentleman. That's the honest truth. Learn how to be a gentleman. Listen to your girlfriend. Listen to your wife. We have this in a society where men are not supposed to show emotions or show their feelings. Like that's not true, guys. If you're gonna be with a girl, with your wife, your girlfriend, you need to show emotion. You need to show them how you feel, what you're thinking. express that. That's something a lot of us men struggle with, of expressing ourselves, because we've been taught to deal with it ourselves. We can deal with other situations, but for us expressing it is hard. I mean, that's why a lot of relationship goes bad, because us men, we don't know how to express it. We don't know what to say. So we keep it to ourselves. Situation gets worse. So we need to learn how to express ourselves, learn how to be a man to your woman, open her door, open the door for her. Like I had to do that with my wife, open the door for her. I did that because she trained me how to do that. She said, I saw this and I want you to do that for me. And I started doing it. And it was hard in the beginning, but as I started doing it, it becomes a norm. And it came to a point that other people are seeing me doing it, and they start doing it because I did it. That's why I say there are things that we're doing that other people are seeing that you don't know that we're doing. So you have to pay attention to every little thing that you're doing, which is a second thought. This journey of life is not for you only. This journey of life is not for you only. If it's only for you, you're in the wrong road. The journey of life is for you to inspire others. You have difficulties, you have problems, and you have ups and downs, but that's to make you stronger. Again, God said He will never give you anything that you cannot bear.
That's
so
right.
The fact that you are able to live through it, you're here. The fact that you're a human being, out of 1 billion trillion sperm cells, you're the only one that made
That's
it.
right.
I think a lot of people forget that, and I expressed that to my wife. She's a doctor. I even told her that. She was amazed by that. Out of 1 billion and trillion sperm cells, you are the one that made it. So you are special in various ways.
That's right.
So everybody out there, men and women, to my guys as well, you guys are special. Don't ever think that you're not special. You're strong, you're wise, you're smart, and you're intelligent. Do not think that you are nothing less. You are made for royalty and richness. So don't think that whatever you're going through, you can't go through it. Just live it one day at a time. One day at a time, and you will get through it. I'm telling you, hold on. And once you experience what you experienced, you learn from it, you get stronger. It is your duty to help the others that are going through it. Do not shun them away. Do not close the door. Do not turn your back. It is your duty as a human being, as a man, to encourage the others that's coming up. It is my job to encourage you and anybody else that's going through some things, and let them know that you will make it and you can get through it. Just hang on, pray, and ask God to give you strength, and He will. Be sincere in your prayer. Guys, you can make it. I've made it. I'm still making it, and you will too. And that goes to every last human being that's listening to this, men and women.
Fellas, I hope you took that to heart, because he literally dropped some bars on you. You can do it. You are one of the, I don't know the statistics, with the 1 billion trillionth sperm cell or whatever that ended up making it. You're special. If you really just think about it, you are that one that actually made it. Know that you're special. Know that you are built for this. Know that all you have to do is take a step back, stay connected to God, stay prayed up, stay focused, but take it all one moment at a time. Some people say one day at a time. I actually say one moment at a time. But listen to the wisdom, man. BJ Darius dropped some bars here. And as far as, connecting with you, man, what's the best way for the folks listening to check you guys out and to connect with you all?
I want to stick it to the Darius Destination, which is our Facebook and Instagram. So it's Darius Destinations. That's DARIUS Destination, DESTINSTION with an S. Destinations. We are on Instagram still as Darius Destinations, YouTube Darius Destinations. We have our email on both accounts. So if you want to email us, you're going to contact us. We are here. If you want to chat it up, hey, I'm here. My wife is here. We are pretty much are two peas in the same pod. So if what I'm thinking, she's probably gonna say.
Awesome.
So she's probably gonna express it better than I can, because women are more illustrate. They can illustrate their words better than men.
I don't know, man. We can. I'm pretty eloquent myself, brother. Come on now.
I'm not saying not, but women they have really good words.
I'm playing
with
you, man.
So, yeah. So we're here. I'm here. If there's anything that you guys need, we're trying to do as much as we need as far as the community. If you want us to come out and support something that you're doing within the New York City area, let us know. We'll stop by. We can sponsor you if you want. We can even show when we do our videos. We can give you a shout out. I mean, we do that. We do that all the time. So whatever you can, we're here for you guys. This is not a lonely journey.
Awesome. Well, fellas in the Black Fathers Now family, we'd like to thank my man B.J. Darius with Darius Destinations for sharing his journey from Haiti to New York to being one of 12 to, going through life and getting married and having a son to establishing Darius Destinations in which they travel the world and do great works and really just have the true inspiration and the true desire to impact the quality of life of folks and inspire Black love, inspire strong parenthood, inspire strong relationships, but then letting the next generation know that, you know what, being married is cool. And so we want to applaud BJ and his wife and his little boy for just, inspiring the world through their journey. And we're just going to encourage you all to keep doing what you're doing because it adds value to the world and it is definitely much needed. So, brother, I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
No doubt. And fellas listening and ladies too, I will have all of BJ's information in the show notes. And you can follow them, Darius Destinations, on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll have all their YouTube channel and stuff linked up so you can get with them, check them out, connect with them. And then when you do reach out to them, let them know you heard about them on Black Fathers Now, the podcast. So this episode has been brought to you by Black Family Apparel. Visit Black Family Apparel where you can grab some awesome apparel that celebrates the nuances of the Black family. Also, grab a copy of my book, Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. 10 commitments that are really celebratory of excellence in Black fatherhood. Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto, currently available on Amazon. Make sure to follow Black Fathers Now on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you're interested in having me come out and speak, get at your boy. Hit me in the DM. Shoot me an email, blackfathersnow@gmail.com. I'd love to come out and talk to your group, school. Just get at your boy. And definitely subscribe via all the podcast listening options. Subscribe, leave comments, share. Again, reach out to Darius Destinations. Holler at my man BJ. And ladies, fellas, everybody listening, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.